first, and today I'll be reading Glory Be Chapter 11 as a read aloud and not as my teacher model. Today's objective, students will be able to determine the theme of a poem by identifying key details that help support the lesson learned in the poem. And your DOL will be a poem online assignment where you have to find the theme of a poem. Themes in literature. Just remember a cream-filled cupcake. Cream filling is hidden inside a cupcake. Themes are hidden inside of a book. Think to yourself, what does the author hope the reader realizes? Some famous examples. Little Red Riding Hood. Appearances can be deceiving sometimes. That's a lesson learned after you read Little Red Riding Hood. The Three Little Pigs. Hard work and patience pays off in the end. The Little Red Hen. Laziness can have negative consequences. So the theme of a poem or a story is just the underlying message or lesson learned the author wants to teach you. So the teacher model I'll be using today, the poem is called No Difference. And as I read, I'm thinking about the underlying message or lesson learned that the author wants to teach me. No difference. Small as a peanut, big as a giant, we're all the same size when we turn off the light. Rich as a sultan, poor as a mite, we're all worth the same when we turn off the light. Red, black, or orange, yellow or white, we all look the same when we turn off the light. So maybe the way to make everything right is for God to just reach out and turn off the light. So now I'm thinking about what the author wants to teach me. And I came up with the following. The theme of the poem is that it doesn't matter what you look like on the outside. What matters is if you're beautiful on the inside. And I was able to tell that was the theme because I found supporting details to support that. Okay? I asked myself, what was the lesson learned? What did the author want to teach me? And it's that no matter what you look like on the outside, it doesn't matter. We're all the same. Detail number 1. We are all the same when we turn off the light. That's repeated in stanzas 1 and 3, and a stanza is just a paragraph in a poem. It's a few lines together. Detail 2. Small as a peanut, big as a giant, we're all the same size. So no matter how small you are or how big you are, it doesn't matter because we're all the same on the inside. And the last detail 3, red, black, or orange, yellow, or white, we all look the same. No matter what the color of our skin is, just like we learn in Glory Be, we're all equal, we're all the same. So you will be reading a poem called Grown Up, and you will be filling out a tree map like this one in order to determine the theme and supporting details. For our read aloud today, I'll be reading Glory Be Chapter 11, but I will not be finding the theme. That was just for poems today. Chapter 11, Miss B says hogwash. I banged open the library's front door and charged in. Miss Bloom sat at the big checkout desk. Hello, Glory, she mouthed the words as she patted the chair next to her. I sank into the hard wooden seat and propped my head in my hand. I can assure you that won't be happening, she said into the phone. She straightened her back and spoke very slowly, one word at a time, like maybe the person on the other end of the phone wasn't hearing her too good. We will not, she stopped to take a deep breath, be removing, another breath, library chairs. Anyone who wants to use the Hanging Moss Free Public Library is welcome here. Unlike the town council's pool committee, I will never allow the library to close. Then Miss Bloom hung up the telephone with 2 fingers so carefully I thought maybe it had cooties on it she didn't want to touch. Are you mad at somebody, Miss B? I asked her. That was one of the board members. They worry there's going to be trouble at the library. They are suggesting I remove all the chairs so anyone they think doesn't belong here won't be welcome to sit down. Miss Bloom fiddled with the box of paper clips on her desk. Or they say to close it altogether. Over my dead body will the library close. The pool's closed, I told her. Frankie's daddy claims it won't open in time for July 4th, the picnic and parade. I've worried about that. She shook her head and sat back in the chair. It's a shame. I may not go to the stupid celebration anyhow. I twisted my ponytail. Glory, you love the 4th of July. It's your birthday. Miss Bloom peered over her cat's eyeglasses. Besides, Laura is counting on sitting with you. The parade's the same stupid thing every year. I crossed my arms and slumped deeper into the chair. A bunch of old men carrying flags. A parade queen with a fake crown. Mrs. Simpson and the Esters in their miu-mius and bathing caps covered with plastic flowers, perched up on the biggest float like they own the town. I looked at Miss Bloom. What fun's a July 4th celebration when it's blazing hot and there's no swimming pool? You think anybody'll remember it's my birthday? Not even Jesslyn. Even if I have a party, Frankie's daddy won't let him come. Everything's going wrong. I stopped to catch my breath. How can anybody think closing the pool's fair? That's a lot of questions, honey. Miss Bloom pulled a big book off the shelf behind her and dusted it with her hanky, which was embroidered with cats. When she slipped her hanky back up with her jacket sleeve, she set the book in front of me, real careful. Look here, we have scrapbooks from every celebration, she said. I pointed to a faded picture tacked down with little silver triangles. Who's that funny-looking man? Your friend Frankie's grandfather, when he was young. See there? He owned the first car in town and decorated up for the July 4th. Miss Bloom turned the scrapbook's crumply black pages. Stupid Frankie says his daddy won't let him play with me anymore because of Laura. I looked at the picture of his grandfather sitting in that old car. I thought about Frankie and about Laura and Jesslyn. How some friends seem born into your life and others just pop up when you need them. But shouldn't a sister be both kinds of friends? Jesslyn used to be both, but I was starting to wonder. Now Miss Bloom turned to a picture of the swimming races from a long time ago. What's wrong with our pool? I asked. You think it will be open by July 4th? Some people are unhappy that it's closed, and probably just as many think it ought to stay that way, Miss Bloom said. A few of our citizens would like to see our town shut down tight, even the library, or at least go back to the way it was in Frankie's grandfather's day, she said. But that's not going to happen. I reached under the desk to pet her cat, Bobsy. I felt like climbing under there to curl up in the coolness next to Bobsy. There's nothing wrong with the pool, is there? I don't think so, Glory. At least nothing that can be fixed with cement. Hanging Moss is all mixed up about a lot of things. We have to figure this out, work together. But if you're worried about the pool, maybe you can do something, she said. Oh, sure, me, 11 years old. Get people like Frankie's hateful daddy to open it and let everybody in town swim. I kicked at the desk in time to the cat purring. Gloriana, it's not just Frankie's father who counts. First of all, there's a law. Believe me, if the law says the community pool stays open, sooner or later, it will open. Yeah, well, I don't understand that, the law and all. Look here. Miss Bloom turned to a row of newspapers hanging on a rack of wooden rods. She opened the Hanging Moss Tribune to a page of letters. See these? Are those what people send to the editor of the paper? Daddy told us about those letters. I wanted to see them, but Jesslyn claims I'm too young to read them. Hogwash, you read whatever you want to. If you've a mind to, I do believe you could write a letter yourself. Miss Bloom handed me the newspaper. I sat up straighter. I turned the paper toward me. Dear editor, one started, I am writing to express my displeasure at the way the Hanging Moss Town Council has responded to the recent upheavals in our community. That was sure a heap of words saying nothing. Can I borrow some stationery, Miss Bloom? I asked. I can write a better letter than that. So after reading chapter 11, I can predict that Glory wants to write a letter to the town council in hopes that they can open the community pool in time for her birthday. What do you guys think? Your independent work today is a poem online assignment where you'll be finding the theme of a poem. I hope you all have a great Friday and a wonderful weekend.